Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are cranking up the volume and diving into something really cool. We're going to explore how rock music went from just being about fun and parties to becoming this powerful voice that could challenge governments and fight for real change. So let's get right into it.
So it really all boils down to this one big question. I mean, think about it. Can a song, something that's maybe only 3 minutes long, something you listen to on your phone, actually change the world? It sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out.
All right, so first up, let's go back to the beginning. We need to see how rock and roll even discovered it had a voice and how it realized it could be about so much more than just a loud, catchy beat.
In the early days, rock's secret weapon was its sound. It was just loud, full of energy, electric guitars. You couldn't ignore it. And that raw energy was the perfect way to grab the attention of young people who, for the first time, felt like they had a soundtrack that was all their own. But here's where things get really interesting. See, artists started having this thought like, hey, wait a minute, what if we use these awesome tunes that everyone loves to talk about, something important? And that's when they began weaving these really serious messages about the world right into the music people were dancing to. And boom, that leads us right to this big idea, protest music. So what exactly is it? Well, think of it like this. It's music that doesn't just entertain you. It acts like a giant spotlight, shining a light on unfairness and problems in the world. And this is the important part, it demands things get better. It's basically music with a mission. Okay, so rock found its voice. What did it decide to sing about? Well, it pretty much became the official soundtrack for some of the biggest fights for justice and equality in history. A massive piece of this was the civil rights movement. You had artists telling these incredibly powerful stories through their songs. They weren't just singing about being angry, they were describing what it actually felt like to face discrimination. And that helped listeners understand and brought so many people together in the call for real change. The music also started telling the stories of everyday working people, the ones in factories or on farms, working super hard but barely getting by. These songs called for better pay, for more respect, for the people who literally build our world with their hands. And of course, rock became this huge platform for women's rights. You had these amazing female artists writing anthems that just blew up all the old stereotypes. The songs were all about being strong, being independent, and demanding the same opportunities as everyone else. So after tackling fairness and equality, rock music got even braver. It started looking at the big systems of power, like governments and giant corporations, and started asking some really tough questions. And yeah, this pretty much sums it up. Musicians started writing songs that were critical of wars, of how we were treating the planet, even about schools being too strict or how the media was trying to shape what we think. Nothing was off limits. The anti-war songs were especially powerful. They didn't just say war is bad. No, they told the stories of young soldiers, describing their fear and their sadness. They made people really question why conflicts were happening and pushed hard for peace instead. Artists also started using their music as a wake-up call for the planet. Their lyrics would paint these incredible pictures, comparing the beauty of a healthy earth with forests and oceans to a polluted world damaged by corporations. It really inspired a whole generation to care about the environment. But at its core, so much of protest rock was a celebration of just being yourself. It sent this message that it's okay to question the rules, to think for yourself, to not just follow the crowd. It was all about empowerment, pushing back against anyone who tried to make everyone act and think the same way. Okay, so we've looked at the big topics protest rock sings about. But for this last part, let's talk about the real magic. How does a simple song manage to connect with us all so deeply? And that spirit of protest is still alive and well. It's just evolved. Today, one of the biggest and bravest topics musicians are tackling is mental health. Artists are putting it all out there in their lyrics, sharing their own struggles with things like anxiety and sadness, and in doing so, they're showing millions of their fans that it's okay to not be okay. And this has helped change the whole conversation around what it means to be strong. It comes down to this idea of vulnerability. Being honest and open about your feelings isn't a weakness at all. As these songs show us, it's actually an act of incredible strength and courage. So how does one song bring thousands of people together? It's actually a pretty simple but amazing process. It starts with an artist being brave enough to share a real, honest feeling. Then someone listening hears that and thinks, whoa, I feel that too. I'm not the only one. And just like that, a bond is created, a community is built, all around one shared song. And this is so important to get.
Even when the songs are about really tough, serious problems, the true message of protest rock isn't really anger. It's hope. It's this deep belief that a better world is actually possible if we're willing to stand up and work for it.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway, isn't it? The loud guitars, the powerful lyrics, that feeling of singing along with thousands of other people at a concert. It all reminds us of one simple truth. We are always stronger when we stand together, and that when we unite, we have the power to make real positive change happen.
So, to wrap this all up, I'm going to turn the final question over to you. After everything we've talked about, how music found its voice to fight for fairness, for peace, for just being yourself, if someone handed you a microphone right now and the whole world was listening, what would you sing about?